One. Hi guys, it's David back here, and today I have a returning guest, Charity Hughes, who actually was on my podcast when I first started 2 years ago, and we had a heartwarming episode where she talked about being a mom and living with CP. And I got to tell you, if I'm gonna link it in the description, but you got to listen to this episode. It was really heartwarming and possibly one of my really good ones that I really felt really good of doing. And today we're just gonna go on a little bit of an journey of an update to see how she's doing and all the positive and the good things and what the future holds for her. So Charity, welcome back on. I'm excited to have you.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So to start off this podcast, I know you were dabbing a little bit into makeup, you know? You were
Yeah.
kind of doing a little bit of a makeup tutorials and kind of influencing people, with different designs. And tell me how you got into that, how you were kind of into makeup and doing all these crazy, wonderful designs that you do.
Well, actually, I got into it because I tried to go back to the workforce after my youngest was born, and it was just not a good idea. I wasn't ready. I was having seizures and constantly in pain, couldn't walk. And so my husband and I decided that I was going to take time off because I was pushing myself too hard. And so I just kind of found this. I started doing it for fun. And I didn't expect to have such a positive experience with it. Before I didn't really know how to do makeup, uh, but it actually helped me um, find my confidence again. And that's what I really needed, to be honest. Um, and it actually helped my daughter. I mean, she suffers with anxiety. She's 7, and she started just wanting to do her own lives and things like that. So,
That's
um,
awesome.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was fun.
yeah, you mentioned two great things, self-care and confidence. It's always important to take care of yourself. And obviously, I guess with a lot of things in your life going on, it kind of took a toll on you, but you found an outlet in makeup to kind of uh, divert you away from all that negativity, and that's wonderful. And the fact that your daughter kind of caught on to it and it's helped her build her self-confidence, it's always so important because when it comes to kids, they learn confidence at the beginning directly from the parents, and that's something you've done a good job on. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is it something you would I guess if the youngest gets older, you'd probably consider going back to, or would you? I know you were dabbing into fitness too at one point. You each wanted to try to start something with fitness as well.
Yeah, so the makeup, I don't know if I'll go back to doing it the way I was. Um, but we'll just play and things like that. But as far as fitness, I still want to do that. I'm still working on building my strength back. Um, I've been pushing myself more and more each day. Um, Usually, I mean, before I couldn't do much of anything throughout the day. After, 15, 20 minutes, my legs were just done for.
Wow.
So, but we're working on it. We're getting closer.
I'm cheering for you. I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm pulling for you.
Right back at you.
Yeah, it's sometimes we all start from the very ground up and build ourselves up to become more confident or stronger. Um, I know that we talked about at the first podcast how you were living with CP as a mother, as a mom with CP. Do you feel like now it's a lot easier? Do you feel like it's about the same, or is it a bit more difficult because of your situation currently?
Um, I think it depends on the day, to be honest. Well, Avery is 7, Emma is about a year and a half, and then I have a 12-year-old stepson and a 9-year-old stepson. So
So you had a whole family.
Yeah, they all have different, um, what's the word? Well, they have different things they want to do. So some things I can, other things I can't, obviously. Um, so sometimes it's hard. I can't run and wrestle and things like their dad does, but when it comes to board games and things, I'm there.
Yeah, and
So
I'm sure they understand. They see it, they'll be like, oh, well, when they're trying to jump and stuff, they're like, oh, wait, mom can't do that, so we got to figure out something else to do, to include mom, in it.
yeah, and they're all pretty well about it. I mean, um, Emma, of course, she doesn't understand yet, but she's climbing everywhere. She's running. We have a baby gate up. If it's left open, she just darts. And
Oh man.
so I'm constantly chasing her and getting her down from places, but the older ones are a lot better about it. The last time they got it, well, actually, last weekend, they wanted me to play Roblox. Never done it before. And so I said, okay. But then after a few minutes, I realized that I don't know if it was the specific game that we were playing, but
It was because causing a trigger, and
yes, I
yeah,
thought I was going to have a seizure. So I had to explain what a seizure was. And they were kind of scared at first, but they understood. So
they understood that you can't really play it, that it causes you harm, not the game itself, but just the lights and the
yes.
flashes.
The graphics and everything, it was very jumpy, and the the colors were just very vibrant, and I tried to turn my light down. It didn't work, so we had to stop, but they were all right.
Hey, that's good. At least they understood, and you were able to kind of explain it to them in a way that they could understand. And I remember I had seizures until I was 3 years old, and then they stopped, and I haven't had them since. But um
And
I know how I kind of know how it feels. I mean, I can't really remember because I was so little, at the time, but I'm glad that they understood, and they're able to work with you, and they seem like really great kids.
and they really are.
They
They
take
all
care
have,
of you.
yes, they do. Yes.
So, um, what are some of your like goals on your bucket list? Do you have a bucket list that you'd like to kind of accomplish as you go, as your kids get older, and you're kind of like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna try this and give this a shot and see where it goes.
Um, well, the fitness path is one for sure. Um, when I did it a few years ago, well, it was like 4 years ago, I think. Uh, Avery actually enjoyed it, so I'm hoping that all the kids, the whole family, would enjoy it. Um, I would like to travel more. Um, Obviously, COVID, you
Yeah.
really can't right now. But there are certain places I want to go that um, physically I'm not ready for, even if I could go financially. So
You got to go to Disney. That's the first trip you got to do because the kids.
yeah, I've actually been. I went when I was 12, but we have talked about taking them, so that's on there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a trip without Disney, especially with the kids,
Yeah.
that's the main destination. But right now the theme parks they're a little difficult to navigate because like with this whole mask thing is just crazy how every place is handling it differently. So honestly, I don't know if we'll get back to normalcy as far as that's concerned, and theme parks, there's one theme park's like you gotta wear it all the time even though you're outdoors. One theme park's like you don't have to wear it when you're outdoors or indoors. It's like it's still open, but I'll save that for another day. But it's like what else, what's going,
No, I completely agree with you. It makes it difficult.
especially ourselves. I don't know if you experienced this, but we walk around we walk around outside, and sometimes we have to go in buildings and we walk around for a long time, and the building could be really hot. And for us, we exert like so much energy because I work at the school, but sometimes I work outdoors, and being that I'm part of the staff, we have to wear a mask, um, for some foreseeable amount of time. But by the time I'm done with my shift, I'm out. Even though I work out like crazy, it really impacts you wearing the mask.
It really does. Whenever I try to go back to work, I I struggled because, we use 3 to 5 times more energy than a normal person.
Exactly.
And just wearing a mask, doing physical labor, I think that was part of the problem, honestly. It was just exhausting me, and I don't know. It's horrible.
And I mean, we try to make things work, and I respect people. I'm like, I tell people, if you don't wear the mask, you don't wear the mask, and if you do, you do. I just try not to judge people. Whatever you do. That's you. So, because
Exactly.
I'm not in the business of like starting a fight or like starting an argument. I'm like, whatever. It's
Right.
because you see people have shown their true colors ever since the pandemic started, and it's really sad.
Mhm. It's it's tough mentally. And I mean, it's hard to get on any social media platform, or to watch the news even. It's hard to interact with people right now. Um, I mean, it's been hard for a little over a year, but in the last month or so, I feel like it has gotten a lot worse. So it's just very taxing mentally.
Uh, do you feel like I mean, being that we're have disabilities ourselves, do you feel like the pandemics kind of hindered us in a way, or have you felt like it's hindered you because you've had to kind of stay in for a foreseeable amount of time?
Yes and no. And I say no because I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
um, Actually, before this started, I was already pretty much, I was pretty much quarantined, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
because when I first got sick, I was actually 5 months pregnant, or almost 5 months pregnant with
Wow.
my daughter, I believe, before I knew that I was pregnant. So, but I was sick constantly, very weak, having blackouts and things like that. And so I stopped working and I was already at home. So for me, I didn't really have to adjust as far as that. But now, trying to decide, do I go back to work? If I go back to work, is school going to be shut down? Because if it does, um, I wouldn't be able to work anyway because they would do a virtual learning. So I'd
Yeah,
have to be. But then again, on the flip side, it's knowing what to do with your kids, you know.
exactly.
Do I send them back to school? Do I get vaccinated for them because my children are old enough to be vaccinated?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so it's just I feel like it causes a lot more concern and stress than normally would.
Yeah, I would agree too. And um it's difficult, but I'm kind of thankful and glad that we have all this technology and accessibility available where we can communicate with others. And the funny thing is, when I started this podcast, I started this pre-pandemic. Um, it wasn't really going anywhere, and I thought to myself, you know what? At least I tried, and people were kind of listening. And if it doesn't take off, it doesn't take off. And at least I gave it a shot. And here we are 2 years later, and I think I literally, as soon as the pandemic started, I think I quadrupled my numbers, and now I'm at literally 6,000 listeners almost in 50 countries.
That's awesome.
And I mean, it's and every day it's funny because every guest that I've had, they help me improve in terms of like what questions to ask, how do I speak, how I present them, and how I present myself. And I try to uphold to the highest of quality when it comes to presenting the guests, because I want the podcast to highlight them the most. And as I always say, I created this platform so that people like yourself can have somewhere to speak. Because sometimes people won't listen. People won't listen
Mhm.
to you. They shut you down. But when you have a space where you could talk and say whatever and aren't judged, that's
Mhm.
perfect, you know?
Yes. Um, I love it. I love podcasts. I listen to yours all the time. I watch all of your posts. And actually, we were going through a big change here. My husband changed jobs, and with school starting, and then me applying for this job, um, I didn't even realize that you and I had kind of, I guess, lost contact because of,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. So I don't. I was afraid at first to accept it, and then so I started.
Yeah, because my original Facebook, it got apparently they disabled it. I don't know what happened, but I can't get access to it. So now it's like completely blocked. And I'm like, I was so upset because I had a lot of networking contacts. I had you guys on there. I had friends, family, pictures. So
Mhm.
now it's like 10 years worth of posts and memories, and but I'm still appealing it. So we'll see where it goes.
Good. I mean, I think, especially with your podcast and everything that you stand for, to lose something so simple but yet vital to what you're doing, it's just kind of devastating, especially for the networking part.
Yeah, and it happened to my Twitter as well. Like I was on Twitter one day and they suspended me and then they put permanent suspension and then I had to appeal it. And then I won that appeal too. So I'm like, what's going on here with everybody? Like, does somebody not like low key like my positivity? Is it something I'm doing, you know?
I mean, I've never seen anything wrong with any of your posts, so I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, so it's crazy how social media is like every little thing now. I feel like in a sense you have to watch out for because they'll censor you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, actually, one of my friends said, I think it was last week, sometime last week, a friend of hers actually got banned for calling her dog a rotisserie chicken. So,
What?
I mean, yeah, that's
What?
probably how
Oh,
ridiculous it's getting.
a
So,
rotisserie chicken. Oh man. Oh
yeah,
man, I can't believe that. A rotisserie chicken.
it's getting ridiculous. And
You heard it here, folks. First on the podcast. Don't call your dog a rotisserie chicken on social media.
I wish I
Man,
was lying or exaggerating, but I'm not.
yeah, I mean it's something else, but as far as like for communicating for us, it's been helpful. It's kind of helped alleviate that anxiety of not being able to really meet people. Although now I'm starting to really come out more because I'm fully vaccinated. I mean, it's like I said, it's anybody's choice whether they get vaccinated or not. I respect that. You know,
Mhm.
and I'm not here to form opinions or argue with people. I'm just here to provide facts and provide entertainment for people that need it. And people need entertainment. People need positivity, and that's what this podcast is here for. And like I said, it's always glad to have you on, and you know you've been able to influence people with how you've lived life as a mom with two wonderful kids and a or four kids if I might add the extra two, four kids and a husband, and that's awesome. And you've done it all despite the CP. You keep moving forward, and I love that.
Well, I struggled for a bit, and um, that's why podcasts and social media, although can cause issues at times, and people are just obsessed with it. I always felt like I was alone. I didn't have anybody growing up that also had CP. I'm from a town of 609 people. So social media has really helped me learn how other people adapt to CP and other disabilities for that matter. But your, I mean, Facebook and podcasts, I mean, you also were a huge part of me getting better mentally. Um, I don't know if you remember or even if you know, but I actually think it was after our first podcast. I can't remember exactly when we did it, but I actually attempted suicide. Um, and I was probably seconds away from just being gone. And so you have helped me a lot mentally. So I appreciate everything that you do, even your funny posts. I mean, the ones that you post just for laughs, they make me laugh, even when I don't feel like I want to. So I just want you to know that I appreciate you and what you're doing is a great thing. So just keep going.
Well, honestly, I don't know what to say. It's I really appreciate that. I mean, just the fact that I kind of was able to, in a sense, redirect you and in a more positive direction when you said you were seconds away. That's like, wow, that really that hits my heart.
Mm.
That really hits my
And
heart. I really appreciate that.
well, you showed me that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you are, what your disability, what's going on, you can still adapt and overcome.
Exactly.
Um, so I'm still trying to do that. But I just was in a state where everything that I thought I was gone. And then it took a lot of time for me to realize that a job doesn't make you who you are. And at that time, I just had a lot of personal things going on. I had issues with my job. My car broke down. I had a
Mm. Wow.
miscarriage, and just all these things compounded. And um, yeah, ever since then, I've had to face a lot of demons that I didn't know I had, and deal with some personal issues. I mean, stemming from childhood that I've had to deal with, but I'm doing a lot better.
But
And
you're still standing. That's what
I'm
counts. You're still going.
most of the time, yeah.
And I'll be the first to say I'm proud of you for really just keep on trying, keep going, and I know you'll get through everything you're going through right now. And like I said, once again, I really appreciate the fact that that I was able to help you overcome possibly one of your darkest moments in your life.
Well, thank you. But
And
I mean, you did it.
but and I'm sure Garrick appreciates it too, because he really cares about you too as well.
Mhm.
He's probably been an instrumental part of you just you persevering and motivating yourself, and you keep going. And he works really hard to help keep the family afloat too.
He does. He does. I mean, he's been, working constantly while I'm at home, just pushing me to get better. Um, he didn't want me to go back to work when I did. Um, he knew I wasn't ready, but he wasn't going to stop me.
Mhm.
Because what he said is, once you have something set in your mind, nobody's going to tell you no. So he let me try, and unfortunately, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. But lesson learned, and things happen for a reason.
But I'm sure there's always something out there for you, and I see something really wonderful happening for you somewhere down the line. Like I
I
always
hope.
say, that it's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, yes.
So, um, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and I really do enjoy your company, and and our friendship as well. It's been amazing, and I really appreciate you like sharing what you've been up to, and I hope people listen to it, and uh, and sure, it might be, there's always negativity in life, but in your situation, despite the kind of the chaos, if I might put it that way, that you faced in your life so far, you're still standing, and that says a lot. And you also have we have the same disability, but you haven't let it stop you from, doing what you have to do as far as providing for your family. And you're trying to get back in the workforce, and you have a very supportive significant other, which is so important. It's so important to have somebody to be on your team 110%. So, and you obviously have a keeper. So, and that's rare nowadays. That's so great.
Oh,
And
yes.
like I said again, I'm proud of you. I'm cheering for you, and I know there's something out there for you. And definitely, I'd recommend this podcast if you guys haven't listened to it. Um, Charity, thank you for being back on. And you guys, this is an example of courage, of motivation, inspiration, bravery, and just overcoming the toughest of obstacles. So kudos to you. And I'm gonna modify my saying again, as I usually say, if I can do it, so can you. But if we can do it, if we can go through obstacles and everything that we face in life, so can you. So I'll end it there, and check out the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and every other major podcasting outlet out there. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Take care.